Good evening. I'm Eric Zawadzki. I'm the developer of the Deviant Renegades game line. This is my tabletop group meeting in quarantine, running a game of Deviant. Just introduce yourselves real quick.
Jake playing Steve.
Joel playing Benji.
Rachel playing Timpson.
Mark playing Solomon.
Okay. Shall we start with quotes?
Yes. All right. I decided to be more ambiguous and title it, "Are We the Baddies?" You peek out the door and see something like a fire elemental walking down the hallway. Hush. Or I'm sorry, huh. Good thing Abby lives on the second floor.
Yeah, good thing Abby lives on the second floor. This hadn't been defined. Therefore, you get away with those sort of things.
Looking at a person who has mutated into a puddle. Hey, do you need any help? Or a bucket? Or a mop? I have no tools to actually help this guy. What about a wetback? I'm sure that if she were to search her feelings, she would have known that it wasn't good news. As if one loud, pushy voice called out and was suddenly silenced. Did you check on your new friend? I'm sure he's fine. I purchased him with experience points. Hey, you might get to switch one of your loyalty touchstones for a conviction. Hey, we might get to have a session that doesn't end in murder. Not this one.
I remember that there was a whole lot of murder last session.
No, I don't think there was.
Not intentional murder.
Yeah.
Just.
Oh, yeah, well.
Slaughter. You wake up and Darren Cuthholder Jr. is sitting next to your bed. The fuck? The very same. And that is it.
Yes. So we discovered that Jared Cuckwalder is alive, and
a deviant.
A slight and a deviant, and there's been a slight change of the decor in the.
Oh, that's right. We made it 70s.
Yeah. So. Classic stuff.
Redecorating for a new senior center now, right?
Yeah, I guess that was the plan, sort of. Give the senior citizens radiation poisoning so that they don't diverge.
Well, it came more from a place of don't make divergent kids.
Okay, that's probably fair. Because there's definitely a problem with that in the current regime. All right, it is currently the evening of August 6th on a Thursday night. Someone was going out to get drinks with their old friend who might or might not be a agent of the conspiracy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. His name was dropped or something or other.
Charlie. Yeah, his name got dropped in the conversation that you had as someone that they were going to send surveillance footage.
What kind of story is it where I had to think really hard about what specific friend you were talking about that was coming out of the woodwork and being part of the conspiracy?
Mm-hmm.
One that hasn't run in a month.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I definitely feel it when we miss one now, in the way that we did that before. Okay, let me see where we were on. Check something. It was okay. Beats in the beat jar, huh? Oh, 2 beats in the beat jar. Okay. Wrong place. All right. And just to remind you of your aspirations in this session, Benji's was blame the mass event on Lefty, Gene Lefty. Steve's was figure out where Dunk is and where when he's not moving anyone. Saul was figure out what's up with Charlie. And Tamsin was figure out how to do Karen's job.
I feel like that's an important thing to try and figure out.
You don't need to do Karen's job. Karen was bad at it.
Well, but I figure that doing Karen's job gives me information that will be very useful.
Oh, Rachel, did you ever make any decisions regarding whether you wanted to purchase a linchpin merit?
Can you refresh me on what that does?
It gives you. Let me get not the game. The thing I'm probably working on. What is a thing I'm probably working on? It has a couple effects that apply to if you're initiating or part of a conspiracy action. Okay. I having trouble with this?
Okay, his lips are moving. We didn't freeze again.
No, we didn't freeze. I'm just taking a moment to find this. If you take an action, a direct hand in a conspiracy action originating from the node that you're assigned to, or one adjacent to it, so it would be one of the structural nodes that's connected to it, then you increase the effective power or finesse rating by 1 for that scene. If you are both a linchpin and a devoted, that bonus is +2 instead. But you're not devoted right now, so it would just be the 1 bonus. And then the other thing you do is you get the condition. That is you get the devoted authority condition every chapter. Yeah, because you're a linchpin, which has its own set of effects. Do you still have the documents I sent out previously? Or do you need me to summarize that again?
If I don't take it today, do I have the option to take it in the future?
Yeah. Right now, it's sort of a soft thing. You don't get the mechanical benefit, but for all intents and purposes, that's where you are right now.
I was going to say one of the other benefits is that nobody else can become the linchpin.
Well, that's a benefit and a penalty, because if no one else can become the linchpin, then you don't have anyone you can just kill to take out the node.
Right.
It costs them a bit of action in order to replace that node after the last linchpin died. So
I'm going to continue to think about it.
Okay.
I want to see what I'm getting into in game first.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair. All right. Speaking of what we're getting into in game, so Mark, you were going to go out to drinks with Charlie. Go out for drinks with Charlie.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll go meet him wherever we were gonna meet up for stuff.
Okay. So you meet go where you're going to meet him. He arrives a little later than you originally expected. He's on crutches, and it looks like he has sort of a sling to hold his keep his collarbone immobilized on one side. And yeah, he's on crutches and has apparently a broken collarbone.
Wow, what happened there?
Oh, I had an car accident a few weeks back.
You never shared that you had this?
No, it was, no, not life-ending injuries or anything, or life-threatening injuries. Broken leg, lower leg, and clavicle. It's a good thing I'm not on like a beat where I have to chase down perps or anything, because I wouldn't be able to do that right now.
Yeah.
I should be off the crutches in a few weeks.
Okay.
He gives you a date of when that happens, and you remember that time when you guys were like on the run from the conspiracy, and everyone's loyalty touchstone started getting hit, and everyone's conviction touchstone started getting used as bait.
Mm-hmm.
It corresponds with that time quite closely.
Ah. So it was a car accident?
It was a car accident.
It's like run-of-the-mill kind of thing, or hit and run, or?
Well, it's a hit. We exchanged insurance information and stuff. Weird head-on, though. You wouldn't think that they would have missed that the light was red and also that they were in the wrong lane. But, people do some things when they're being inattentive.
Well, hitting a police officer with your car is pretty high on the list of big oopsies.
Yeah.
You going to be healed up for hunting?
Like I said, a couple weeks, I'll be off the crutches. I think the sling's probably good as is. I have an appointment in a couple days to just make sure that it's healed up enough and I can take off the sling. But
I see.
Hopefully, I'm not horribly butchering the medical stuff on this. But
you are, but don't worry.
You'll have to probably get back on the range because you're going to be out of practice.
It's true. I'll be out of practice.
Well, let me know when you're up for that.
I will.
Did you? Well, you must have. It's probably decent news about the stuff going on at my condo yesterday, or the day before, or whatever.
Yeah, I heard some rumors about some weird stuff going on there.
Yeah, you could say it's pretty weird. Well, nah, you wouldn't really believe it. But.
It was like a massive false alarm, though, right? Just like every single fire, thing, and burglary alarm and everything just got tripped all at the same time, but it turned out to be nothing.
Well, that's probably what they're, putting out to just keep the media happy. But
oh, do you know something different from that?
Well, yeah, I was there. There
what happened?
There was some explosion of something and some fire and everything. Got all put out eventually, but before even the fire department got there. But I guess they want to keep it a little hush just to not have people panic or whatever.
Okay, I suppose that's a thing.
Yeah, you know how Ganun Gap is with trying to keep secrets.
Well, I don't know. They're pretty good at sharing information.
Well, the information they want.
They cooperate with I mean, like, not really my area of expertise, but what I understand, like, we can't do all sorts of surveillance and stuff legally under Constitution and so on without due cause.
That's why they have to feed it to you voluntarily.
Yeah, well, someone has to. And so Gainan Gagap has a lot of fingers and a lot of pies, and one of those fingers is in a lot of security camera businesses around here. And so sometimes they pass along information about stuff that their cameras catch, and they send it on to over here. I mean, I'm not the one who analyzes it, but I'm their point of contact as far as like getting it to the rest of the team goes.
Yeah, you haven't had anything come across from the other day then yet, huh?
Not yet. I mean, it hasn't been very long, and they've got, unless there's a crime involved, they don't need to send anything to us. I mean, it would just be clarifying.
Well, we've got some issues with the management. You might have heard that we got a lawsuit actually going against them.
Yeah, something about like accidents that have happened there. I know you were talking
Indeed.
about your you have that weird radiation thing.
And the explosions and stuff.
Yeah, it does seem like it could benefit from some modernization.
Well, sure, if you say.
I mean, like, update the wiring and the utilities and things so that they don't explode. Seems like a good way to go.
Yeah, might
a
little more than that.
They're still in business though, so clearly they're like passing housing inspections and such.
Well, technically maybe, but that could be
technically maybe
those fingers in the pies, as you said. So basically I wouldn't trust anything that they give you to be accurate. Why? Because of all the stuff they're doing at the place.
It's just footage.
Well, if you've got a good way to tell if it's doctored, I would say look into it deeper than you otherwise would have, even if it looks really benign on the surface.
Well, not my area of specialty, but I guess I could pass that along to the folks who do that sort of thing. I mean, forensic analysis and such. Because I mean, it's really bad if you can't trust, like,
an evil corporation.
Yeah,
we can't trust evil corporations. Who can we trust?
The mages, God Machine, the vampires. Wait, no, none of those.
Or if there's a way, you could get me maybe some sort of security dealie that's maybe outside their known influence, that could help document something that is illegal that could then be acted on.
Well, so you're suggesting that some of the footage that they're sending us has been doctored?
Possibly, because if there's any way that they've got security systems monitoring anything going on in that building, then it would show some really weird stuff.
Like the fire?
Well, the fire, the people turning into things, the walking fireman.
Wait. Turning into things?
Weird
turning
things.
Into things?
What?
What do you mean turning into things?
Puddles and fire people and raccoons, guys shooting light beams.
You haven't been enjoying the Colorado air, have you?
No, it's actually been a rough couple weeks.
you might want to. I say this with the greatest respect and the greatest amount of compassion and love. You might want to talk to someone about this stress. It doesn't sound like it's healthy for you.
You know what's not healthy for me? I'll start glowing.
Oh dear.
Well, this took a turn.
It did. Yep, I think that's fair. So you create a scene.
Yeah. Aren't we just like at a bar?
Yeah, you're just at a bar and you're glowing at a bar.
That's right.
And
No.
that's, oh boy, that makes a lot of fuss. There's a lot of screaming. You know, a lot of people running out of the building.
Yeah, this is what's not healthy for me, Charlie.
I don't know what that is, and I don't know what to do about it.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is they're making this, me and others.
They're making that. Do you have any proof?
No, other than the fact I exist. But that's what I'm saying. If they're giving you any sort of actual footage from the actual security systems at the actual building, you're going to see stuff that will blow your mind.
Well, I'll watch for it, and I'll let you know if I see anything weird. I mean, I got to be a little careful because that's really not my area. I'm not in the forensics. I'm not supposed to be really handling that kind of evidence. But if it's falsified, I can at least talk to someone who might be able to look at it a little more closely. Now, could you put your son back?
And any business you have with that company, be careful because they've been threatening people and they make people disappear. I've seen it.
Really? That's a very serious allegation.
I'll get up and pray. What was their family? Was it like the date? Oh, gosh.
Sorry, you broke
The
up there a
family
little bit.
that
The Joneses?
was.
Or are you talking about your boss, former boss?
I erased him now. My old boss.
Brandon or whatever?
Whatever his name was, now that I'm totally blanking on it, but yeah, why don't you? They just moved in, and if you look into them, I don't think you'll find any. Weren't they all gone? At least the boss guy was gone.
Well, the boss guy was totally fried. That was the end of him.
Yeah. Was it the rest of his family too?
I'm not 100% sure exactly which members of his family survived that. I don't think that he was. I know that he did not survive. But the others, they may have survived. They may not have diverged. It could be a couple different possibilities. You don't know for sure.
Well, yeah. That's one family. A few weeks ago, this other family was forcibly removed. Look into it. I think you'll find something. That's all I'm saying. I should probably leave. I will try to stop glowing, I guess.
Yeah.
Eventually, I'm sure you'll figure it out.
Yeah, eventually. Okay.
You know, all those people just wanted to get drinks and they came and got cancer instead.
Maybe you're the Gununga Gap group now.
You just light. Jeez. It wasn't radiation.
Yeah.
Different glowing.
Different colored glow.
Yes. It doesn't automatically come out at max power. Max power. I will eventually, once it's off, I will then leave and go back home.
Okay. All right. So a couple things that are in the works right now that you are aware of because we discussed last session.
Bet you the service for the church across the street is going to go up now. The attendance for that. It's a bunch of people just saw an angel sitting at a bar in the middle of the town.
Great. That's it. Drive them to the labyrinth. Drive them.
You should keep a pair of wings in your backpack for emergencies.
So there's a couple activities that need to be done. First off, you have Sol and Benji have been given 13 weeks, so until November 5th, to build a better accident, meaning one that kills fewer residents but still transforms a large number of them.
Wait, you were residents?
Sorry, Rachel.
So you okay with some death toll, just a small.
Yeah, smaller number. Yeah.
Yes. Why are you thinking that's weird?
Yeah, your connection's kind of got a little goofy there.
Yep.
Rachel's laughing too loud, and now the connection's gotten horrible. Yeah, so you have 13 weeks to build a better accident. Hampson, on the other hand, has 13 weeks to attract 150 residents to Serendipitous Gardens, meaning 150 of the 250. I wrote this down somewhere. I had this whole thing. Oh, here's
250 openings.
There are 250 units. Serendipitous Gardens is 28 floors high and has 250 units.
Oh, a lot larger than I thought.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people.
245 units.
I can't understand a word that Marco and Rachel are saying.
Yep. It's you guys are going through a very bad auto tuner is what's happening right now.
Yeah, we have. So what I was asking you was 250.
He didn't say that was how many are empty.
Well, he said it's to fill, but.
Yeah, well, anyway. 250, remember, minus the ones that are already occupied, which is by you, Benji, Steve, Sol, Abby, Jared. Am I missing anyone? I don't think I'm missing anyone.
Cosmo.
Cosmo does not have a condo of his own.
No.
He could.
And all the other people that live there.
We could get him his own condo and it could be full of garbage cans. Garbage cans with just stuff in them.
I think we should put that condo right above the one that oh no, Rachel didn't move. Shoot.
Yeah, and Jared's in the penthouse, so no, there's nothing above him.
Which was too bad. I was really looking forward to intentionally annoying my downstairs neighbor instead of accidentally annoying my downstairs neighbor.
Is knocking over trash cans.
You said that Jared has the penthouse? How did I miss that he lived there?
Because it was, you don't know in character yet.
One sec, we're trying something.
Okay.
Is everyone still there?
I'm here.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
I think they're
no
frozen.
one on my display is moving, so.
Yeah, sorry. And by no one you mean I'm not moving because you can't see Noel.
Yeah, that's true.
Rachel and Marco.
Meaner.
Yeah.
Hey.
They're moving again.
All I heard was you don't know in character yet.
Yeah, you don't really know in character yet, but I remember it was discussed earlier that was like the plot that you guys had to kick him upstairs, quite literally. But yeah, he's going to end up in the penthouse.
Okay, he doesn't live there yet, but he will.
Yeah.
Because when you fail up, that's the farthest up you can get.
No, wait a sec. If you don't have a corporeal body, really, what do you need with that much space?
Well, apparently, someone didn't want the penthouse, so therefore...
You never told me I was getting the penthouse. Yeah, the number I was given was not the penthouse.
We'll feed the cat and
you didn't ask, did you? And then the other thing that is going on is that I know that Steve wants to figure out what is it called? Dunk is up to.
Yeah.
Or where he is.
And I do think, just to remind people, we had that conference call with like the bigwigs over at Gagagagab. I managed to get a recording of the whole thing and just gave it to the demon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, man. Because we had that conference call that we all attended.
And Tamsin very amazingly, sneakily got it over to our lawyer.
Yeah.
And that was the call where I'm pretty sure that was where they explained to us that we had to, that the explosion that killed all those people was such a great success, and we're going to do it again.
Yeah.
Specifically, you're going to do it again.
Yeah.
So the way I'm going to...
Go ahead.
Go ahead. The way I'm going to handle this mechanically is that, at least for the first two tasks, is that I'm going to kind of abstract them a little bit. Tell me what you're doing. I'll have you roll some dice, and each roll is going to equal a week of activity on that project. So both Full Metal Accident and that's what it's called in my notes. Full Metal Accident and Adventures in Real Estate, because you make a horrible mistake and now you're going to have to try to go again. And the same thing with attracting Adventures in Real Estate, trying to attract a bunch of people to move into Serendipitous Gardens.
Okay.
Okay.
So, well, I guess I need Saul for the next question that I have.
Okay.
Oh, there you are. So what are we actually gonna... Are we gonna do what they want, or I was under the impression that we were going to use the 13 weeks in order to complete whatever our plan is to take them down.
Yeah, I like the idea.
I don't think we have, Eric. I don't think we have the any intention of going through with what they're asking us to do.
Okay.
I think we're going to try to kill them all before then. Or whatever.
Yeah. Take down nodes or whatever, to speak in game parlance. Like, where is the AI house? Let's go break it. Where is so-and-so? Let's go break her knees, or, deviant stuff.
No, that's fair. And so it'll be similar things. So again, a week of doing whatever. Tell me what you're trying to achieve, and then there'll be gradual like increase in effectiveness as time goes on.
Sure.
Okay. So who wants to go first, and what are you doing?
Okay. Related movie thing, animated thing.
Well, I have a lot of goals. Can I only work toward one of them in a week then? Is that what I'm understanding?
For the abstracting, yes.
Yikes.
Okay. Do we want to make it a little bit less broad and maybe narrow it down a bit?
Well, here's the thing is you just gave us a billion things to do and then told us that we're not allowed to do more than
any
one
of
at a
them.
time.
Okay, no, that's fair. How about we, for the abstract piece of it, we will, whatever you guys are doing, you guys are trying to pull an Iron Man. Is that a good way of describing it? Where you're ostensibly working on this project for the conspiracy, but you actually are building something else.
Exactly.
So let's make that the thing that we keep abstract. Do what are you making it look like you're doing? What are you actually doing?
Okay, that's fine.
And then we'll allow other things to happen during the week as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to do day action, night action.
Essentially, yeah, we've done this before.
Yeah.
What I'm doing on my night action.
Work day and then homework actions. I think that would work better.
Okay. And we can even take weekends. So
there you go.
All right. So what are you pretending to do and what are you actually doing, gentlemen?
Okay. So my idea for the first thing to accomplish, with the actual apartment, is to build a weapon.
Okay.
It probably can only function either within the apartment complex, or maybe it has to be actually physically rooted in the. I was thinking it could be something like I could attach it, to a piece of infrastructure anywhere within the apartment complex, plug it into the wall and
like those 1950s vacuums.
Exactly. Yes. That was the exact picture I had in my head.
Shall we use the condos that have the special condos, will include Steve's, or have enough flow to power that device, and of course the portal room itself will have that kind of power. Does that make sense?
Sure. If I have enough time, can I create other nodes in the, or I shouldn't use that word.
I know what you mean.
Other
outlets.
I definitely want to have one in the front lobby.
Okay.
So that it's functional around the office if we need to fall back to the office or whatever, or if I need to kill someone who's in the office. But yeah, what I'm thinking is something with big I don't know, extension cord / tube things that plug into these bizarre outlet things in the wall. And yeah, what I'm telling the scientists that I'm doing is, creating a, building-wide, regulation system for the power, so it doesn't, echo back on itself like it did before. And yeah.
Okay.
And technically, that's probably something that it does. In that I'm creating a system by which power can be directed to different places in the complex, tapping into that system.
Okay. All right. So, of those two sort of subtasks, what do you want to devote this specific week to? Do you want to devote the energy to adding more outlets or to beginning the weapon?
Probably the weapon. I don't have any idea when Gene is going to come back.
No, that's fair. And Soul, do you want to assist on this one?
Yeah.
Or do you have your own project?
But I mean,
Unless you have something.
I'm assuming that I have to do some sort of work.
Well, you are working for the conspiracy when you're working on this project.
All right, so they don't need me to like go somewhere and do work.
Nah, you'll be fine.
All right, so good. Then I can help during the day, I guess.
Yep. Okay, so let's see. We were using int plus occult or int plus science.
Yeah, you want to roll first? Give me dice.
Yeah.
That one was a 9. Oh no, it's a 3. Don't take that one.
Not over here. I think one drop somewhere. Int and science. Was I getting the nuclear science specialty? Were you allowing that before?
Yes.
I think.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. 7s and up, right?
8s.
8s and up. 7s don't count. Well, that's still
correct.
9988.
4.
And is there any penalty for this?
I don't know. I'm not going to assign a penalty on these. I just have a very high total number that is required. So.
Right. And my tools give me +2 dice, correct?
Correct.
Four.
Okay. All right. So you make some pretty decent progress on that. It's clearly gonna take some time to accomplish this. It's quite a large project.
Yep.
And now both of you roll me the manipulation plus occult and manipulation plus science. This is the faking it part of things.
Is one of us assisting the other, or are we doing
one is assisting the other?
Okay.
With or without the specialty?
The specialty can be fine. That can be included, as can his tools.
3.
Okay.
That's a lot of dice.
We're not playing Exalted, Noel.
I'm sorry. How many dice? How many did you say you added?
3.
Okay. No, I only got 2.
Okay.
Didn't you just roll like 20 dice?
I had a huge die pool for that last roll, but my manipulation is much smaller than my intelligence.
It just sounded like you had an entire box of dice that you were rolling around.
Oh, no. I also am much better at rolling subterfuge than I am at rolling occult, because I have double 9s for that one, but occult is new to this character. Or 9 again, excuse me.
So the way I'm handling this on the keeping it hidden thing is I'm giving the conspiracy a flat standing level security surveillance roll that may have some small bonuses if you guys are being particularly unsubtle or rushed. And if they reach a certain threshold higher than yours at any point, they figure out that something is up. And if they get too far ahead of you, then they totally bust you. That threshold's pretty high, and right now you're ahead of them. But if you get sloppy, eventually they'll figure it out.
Okay. Can we give them a penalty when we're doing something that is like that seems very much like what we're saying we're doing?
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Okay. We also, not to break rule 0 or whatever, because I'm sure you've thought of this already. Mm-hmm. It's not just cameras that we need to be concerned about anymore.
Oh, yes. You have Creepster.
Yep. Jared is watching.
We need to figure out a way to detect him.
Or undo him.
Or contain him.
Well, that comes later, but just so that we know that he's not listening when we're doing homework.
I wonder if he can show up in Steve's apartment.
I mean, you guys can, so.
I'll add that to the list of potential things you might do on this project. Okay. All right.
I am designing the weapon like a firearm, by the way.
Okay.
So that, I mean, I'm probably not the best person to use it, considering how much better everybody else is at firearms than I am. But it'll be something that anybody will be able to use technically. More like a Ghostbuster proton pack, but plugging into the wall instead of a mobile device.
That's cool.
You should test it on Jared, right?
What's that?
We should test it on Jared.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that's it. Go right for the hierarchical node.
Well,
the other nodes just walk around our base.
I know.
Well, if the other bigwigs in the company are doing their job, he's not going to be the head of the hierarchical node for very long. That might be something you consider working on, Rachel.
The hierarchical node, or
Get
Well,
other nodey books. Like,
yeah. Now that you're the one of the big shots, you can start pulling strings to get him replaced.
Wow.
find out where all the other people like live and their habits, so we can go take them out systematically.
I need to have my first day of work first.
That's true.
That'd be a good idea.
Not to...
Well, I'm done. So
yep, I know. I'm taking some notes on what we've discussed as far as how this works. Since we had some systems work to this, so
got it.
Just take a moment. So sorry if I'm sort of dead airing you guys a little bit.
No worries.
There's a kitty cat.
Let me see. Let me see the kitty.
He's under the table at the moment.
Oh.
You know what Halloween miracle happened this year? I picked up one of those cool, like, Target cardboard cat thingies that were all like Halloween themed, and she's actually using it.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
I know.
That is pretty strange.
It's like a 2-story haunted hotel. Has a little. Here we go. Here we go. Kitty.
Kitty. Oh.
Sometimes she'll hide in the bottom, but more often she hangs out on the little balcony area of the top one. I placed it so she can sit up there and look out the window and still be all like comfy.
On top of the world, looking down on creation.
Which is, I believe, the true.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So Tamsin.
He is unhappy because there is no condensation on the pot.
Yeah, I think they might have frozen for a sec.
Yes.
So what are you up to for your week one?
I don't know. I figured there'd be somebody there to like. Are they just saying go to work, or is there any sort of training involved? Because
Jared believed in you. Said you'd be able to hit the ground running. You can ask for assistance in broad terms. You don't have to like actually be good at this. But in very broad strokes, what are you trying to do?
I know what I'm doing first. I'm going into her office.
Ah, okay. Getting the passwords figured out.
Yeah, I'm assuming.
Making sure the printers are set up.
Yeah, I'm assuming there's some sort of workstation in there.
There's a computer.
Yeah.
Making your desktop not look a complete mess.
I mean, I'm going to try and
turning off the sound, the system sounds.
I probably should like pick up the personal effects that are in there and, return them to her family.
Wow. That's got me. It's true. It's true. I mean, I guess she was a little bit of a monster.
I definitely think that her children that we define should like try to get revenge somehow.
Oh, you guys are gonna be on a list.
I mean, not necessarily against us. I mean, they could be getting revenge against her job. I don't know, but
well, so maybe when I return it, I try and see if I plant some seeds of how horrible the organization was.
Okay. Well, that's actually a pretty relevant thing.
Sorry, the company killed your mom.
By the way, it's cool and you should.
Here's her pictures from the office.
All right. So here's how we're going to handle this. There's a primary role, which is how many new residents you attract this week. And there's a secondary role, which is kind of up to you, either to try to grant a bonus on the primary role this week equal to the number of successes. So you could either make it so that you try to get a whole bunch of people this week, or you try to build more infrastructure to make it so that in every future role has a bonus on the primary role.
I'm going to do that.
Okay.
Because I feel like trying to get a lot of residents to move in that first week isn't a realistic.
Hard, yeah. Okay. So roll our one die.
Roll one die?
Yep, roll one die. That's the primary roll.
9.
Yep, okay. So you get one resident somehow.
I don't know, maybe I'll just start.
And then let's say that so what are you, so right now you're just sort of getting settled in. So let's maybe make it a maybe intelligence plus academics, unless you can think of a better skill for that. You have to have better rules in.
Animal Ken.
It's all about the raccoon assistant or cat assistant.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I couldn't make an argument for another role that would give me more dice.
Okay.
One success.
You should change the because there aren't any people who live here, just feel free to change the HOA rules like any way you want, really, because you're the boss now. Just like start making rules that like people can have like whatever kind of pets they want.
Yeah,
make it
you
like
definitely
super manticore
that.
friendly so that they can like roam around and
because
get into trouble.
Yes, I will make a comment though that any instances of pets eating or attacking other pets will be dealt with on a pet by pet basis.
All right, we're prepared for manticore combat.
So relaxed pet standards.
About Manticore Fight Club is that you don't talk about Manticore Fight Club, Steve. The second rule is that it obviously happens in Steve's apartment. Any combat in the hallways is invalid for official rankings.
I can't remember your cat's name, but he would easily win, I think.
Bjorn.
Yeah. There you go.
Bjorn, yeah, he uses the things to be like, oh yeah, no, I guess I'm not going to attack this cat.
No, you're fine.
Couldn't Cosmo just like pick Bjorn up?
Yes, for sure.
And then pet him and feed him.
Yeah.
Well, other things that you were talking about is that you had indicated that you were intending to review Gunungiap's contract with the God Machine. Hey, you got access to Karen's computer now.
Did you say Pop Machine?
God machine. Your contract with the God machine.
God machine.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, they do not have a contract with the pot machine. I'm sorry. Usually, those tend to be month-by-month contracts at best.
I'm just
transaction
saying.
By transaction.
I figure vending machine supply was probably under my purview, so
you're probably correct.
Hey, I could use a pog machine in my apartment.
Pog machine.
It's set. The apartment complex is set to 70s, not 90s.
Yeah, there you go.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
I remember when those like became a thing. Actually, when they first came out, and I just kind of looked at it, it's like, this is going to be a thing. I was too old.
Apparently.
Yeah. Well, I was in high school at the time, so it wasn't as much of a thing for me.
Yeah. No, not really.
No, but.
I was exactly the right age, and it still blew past like far faster than I was like, whoa, what are these things? Whoa, what were those things?
Yeah. It did seem to have a limited amount of entertainment value, to say the least.
Yeah.
I wonder what happened to all the pogs my brother and I had.
Where do all the pog collections go?
It's sitting in an antique store somewhere now.
I don't know. We managed to get like this cool Saturn V, like Apollo 13 promotional, like pog holder.
Pog? Apollo 13 pog what?
Holder. Yeah, because I mean, a Saturn V rocket is basically like a long tube in shape.
Okay, no, that's pretty. I guess that stands.
Yeah, it like you could get a couple of sections from, I don't know wherever this is from, maybe Arby's, and yeah. Anyway, once upon a time, I had a Saturn V rocket full of pogs, and I don't know what happened to it. Is kind of the end of that story.
Okay. All right. So, what else are we doing in this first week? Our weekend action. How about we'll just start calling it our weekend action?
Do I find anything of interest in? I mean, we've been trying to get into the office with like this entire game.
I know, and then now you like I have unlimited access.
Act is I'm going into the freaking office, so you just glossed over what's in the office.
All right. I'm not trying to be flip. So maybe let's do wits plus computers.
I'm sorry, I re-roll 10s. I double 10s.
You re-roll 10s.
Re-roll.
Thank you. 2.
Okay. So you find this weird contract, and it does sort of say that like if these conditions aren't met, it reverts back to the previous owner. Weird thing. I don't know. Strange. Occupancy must be kept at least 96%, no more than 10 units at all times. No more than 10 vacant units at all times. However, there's like time, like there's an amount of time that you have that you're able to fall down below that before it actually applies. If occupancy falls below 96% for 12 consecutive months, the God machine, it reverts from the God machine again.
Okay, can you please refresh me, because it's been a month and I myself am blanking on this particular thing. We don't want it to revert back to the previous owner because
world ends.
The world ends.
Not necessarily. It's not so much the world ends, but it's if the you will no longer have control over it. It will go back to the God machine, and you won't have any power over that anymore.
Okay. I really thought it was
the world ends if the occupancy rate is so bad that the city basically shuts it down and calls it an abandoned building.
Okay.
Oh.
Then the world ends.
Okay.
And there is also an issue with if their occupancy is pretty low, it's not soaking up the radiation that it needs to soak up. And so those bad rads are going elsewhere. And that could cause problems. But you're no arcane physicists.
Nope.
Ooh, I am.
You are, sort of. But yeah, so if it's 12 consecutive months below the 96% threshold, yeah, that's a violation of contract, and God Machine wants it back. It also, if occupancy falls below 50%, it's a much bigger deal. So if it's below 50% for one fiscal quarter, then it also reverts. Although it's a little fuzzy, and it's hard to tell whether the language is that, it's 13 weeks from the date that the occupancy reaches that 50%, or whether it's the date that the first of the month, and that's when the 13 week starts, because you won't know who's paying rent until they don't pay rent on the first of the month, or whether there's like some sort of thing where they'll wait until the end of the quarter before actually enforcing the action, so you actually have a little more wiggle room. They're obviously not taking any chances getting a gap with the amount of time that they're giving you. 150 is well above the 50% threshold, and the 13 weeks they're starting from right now rather than waiting for the first of the month.
All right, I guess I have another crazy question.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we? Is there a reason we can't remodel so that there's fewer units?
That is a really clever idea.
I'm just saying, if there's fewer units, then the
if it talks about percentages and not absolute numbers, then I think her idea gets around the contract.
Wow.
It probably
gets creative.
Yeah, it probably does get around the contract. You have to be a little careful because, again, to a certain extent, the number of people living there is relevant in the sense of who's soaking up the rats.
Okay, I guess.
But yeah, you could theoretically you could remodel away at least some of the units and reduce that floor a little bit.
Knock all the interior walls.
Just knock all the walls down.
One homeless guy can
100%.
Yep. You've got a brand new 10-foot by 1,300-foot apartment with no walls in it.
Which is only
You're allowed to have as many pets as you want.
Yeah, of all species.
Where the deer and the antelope play.
Hey, the more pets, the more they're soaking up radiation.
You're correct on that. At least theoretically. I mean,
we need a lot of buffer hamsters. Actually, yeah, we get a couple of guinea pigs or something like that. Like
literal guinea pigs, not
Yeah, literal guinea pigs. I figure they're a little larger than hamsters and rats and mice, so they'd probably soak up more. And
you want the rats of Dim? This is how you get the rats of Dim, or the hamsters of Dim.
Only the guinea pigs of Denver.
Just out of curiosity, from the contract, can we tell if the God Machine is a spirit of the law or a word letter of the law kind of entity?
I am going to say that it is more the letter of the law.
All right.
One interesting tidbit that you'll probably notice if all of you guys are starting to get involved with looking at this contract is that it appears to have been prepared by the same law office as the one that Zechariah works for.
Of course it does.
Of course.
Well, I mean, I guess I'm going to toss my idea up the chain to one, make it seem like I'm actually buying into this thing. And
well, the company wants max horror.
Yep, that's true.
It's just sort of if we're having problems meeting
if the issue is the occupancy rate, that does seem like a viable solution to that problem. But remember, yes, long-term goal is that we have to make sure that we have viable test subjects in sufficient numbers to beat our last quarter's results.
Yeah, their business is actually selling mutants, not.
Well, I'm trying to pretend that's not the fact, and just more of a, hey, I know we're concerned about occupancy rate. I noticed that this was the exact wording of the contract. Here's an idea. Don't know if it's viable or not, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes. What do I find in the office anyway?
A box of pencils that all have been like sharpened to almost nothing left.
Several plants, one of which is doing worse than the others.
I can't remember. Did you actually pee in the plant, or was that just?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would mean that it would be doing better, though, technically.
You know, I can't remember the last time I did a science project about urinating on whether urinating causes a plant to grow better or worse.
It probably would help some because of
I don't think plants are picky.
Well, I was listening to the doctor. What?
It probably would help some because of the extra nitrogen.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't nip my hand.
And now
anyway, yeah, he's talking to the cat, as you do.
All right. Are there any like pictures and stuff in there? Anything that indicates?
Oh yeah, her family. Lots of pictures of her family. Lots and lots of pictures of her family. You know.
All right, I gotta pack up the stuff.
They're smiling at you as you're packing them up.
Well,
except for the stoner son, he's kind of an asshole.
But he wasn't when this picture was taken. This was a few years ago.
If the picture suddenly stops smiling at me as I packed them up, I feel like that would be more worrisome.
That's just what your brain is doing.
They're one of those like half smiles where they're only smiling at you when you yourself are happy. But when you have a guilty conscience, they're frowning.
I didn't kill her. I have no.
Yeah, we're in Karen's office.
People I know may have intentionally.
Absolutely intentionally, and also still don't have a guilty conscience because we don't have consciences because we don't have souls.
Yep.
All right, so I guess I'm totes fine.
Well, you don't have to be totes fine.
Well, I have some fine totes for all of these pictures.
You don't hate his children. Fine totes. Ugh. Gosh, Rachel, that one, I missed that one until Noel groaned.
Rachel, what was the one that you dropped like a bomb on our D&D game? That,
I don't even remember it. Have to look at the thing.
Like,
oh my god,
on Friday?
Yeah.
She fucking wrecked me.
I don't recall a amazing fun happening.
I typed it into chat.
Oh. Well, we could go look. Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh yeah, because this was a Halloween thing you guys did, didn't you?
Yeah.
Technically, it started that way, but not anymore.
Not anymore. Did that game continue?
Yep.
It is now.
Reemerged. Death.
Okay.
Well, I guess I'll go take these over to. I'm assuming there's some information about where her house was.
We've been there.
We've been there. Yeah.
I have her address.
Yep, you can get her address pretty easily.
Okay.
You know, company directory and all.
Okay. I'll make sure I'm not wearing like a tie-dye shirt or something like that.
Just a name tag that says Karen crossed out Tamsin. In quotation marks, new Karen.
Wow.
Oh, I'm going to ask Abby if she's willing to come help me deliver these.
Abby?
Oh, God.
No, I'm not trying to torture Abby. I don't want to torture Abby.
How does Abby feel about this? I'm kind of curious about that.
Let me rephrase. I would ask for advice if she thinks she should go with, or if she would, if that I want to return the photos and stuff to her family.
I mean, she doesn't have a conscience either. Let's be clear about that. So.
Oh, but she's still my touchstone, so therefore I.
Yeah.
Abby will be okay with going along.
Is it going along or going alone?
Going along, as long as you can find someone to man the reception desk.
Oh, hey, Steve.
Yeah.
Get your dream job.
What's up?
And this is how Steve became the receptionist or assistant receptionist.
If you can to watch the reception desk for about an hour or so, Abby and I are wanting to run these photos of Karen's that used to be hers, I guess, back to her family.
Yeah, I can do that. What do I have to do?
Abby can explain the basics.
You have to do.
Oh, okay. I'll ask her then.
All right.
That actually works though. That actually works though because Steve's plan was to introduce people to his new roommate. So yeah. We can do that from the front desk. That way we don't have to go door to door.
Well, there's nobody living in most of the units right now.
I know. I'm really more looking for one of the people behind the scenes people.
Oh.
You know, like one of Dunk's crew or something like that. Anyway. So I've got Cosmo and old baby Bjorn, so.
Yep. So you two are going to go off and deliver Karen's special effects, including like leftover condiments. Why not?
Wait, I don't deliver the condiments. Condiments. I said condiments. I'm not. Unless it looks like
maybe they need those soy sauce packets. That sweet and sour sauce from 2014. What?
Okay, if it looks like
okay. You're not twisting the knife or anything of that sort. You're just I'm very gently giving her the photographs and other things that are more personal effects and not like just
exactly. I'm not.
Are you giving them back the pencils?
No.
Okay, just making sure.
I guess office supplies are for the office. Damn it.
Like sharpened down to nubs, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know, actually, I may have interpreted those as like some kid art project, and those are probably in there.
Okay. Stealing office supplies. I mean, no. All right.
Well, now I'm just going to have to go do it again. They were serving a purpose or something.
I forgot about that. Was it to torture Karen?
No, it was to stop the torture of me.
Oh, well.
Yeah, that was a lefty. That was a lefty idea.
Label your anti-torture devices so that they don't get mistaken for, like, I don't know. Art.
Mistaken for art. All right. So you're going to deliver the stuff to her husband, who is is a paramedic, drives an ambulance, saves lives. Very heartbroken over the loss of his wife. That he's a widower now.
Lives, but he couldn't save hers. It's the ultimate.
Yeah, it's awful.
You should tell him about that.
The kids are pretty wrecked, especially the eldest. I believe the eldest was named Elmo. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
Was that the daughter?
Made fun of me. I had it written down somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, I'll figure it out. So, yeah, that's it's going to be rough in that house.
Well, at least they got some extra pictures.
Yes, clearly. Well, that's the ex-wives club. Nobody needs that right now.
What? The ex-wives club?
Yeah, it was just I have headers within my GM notes, and sometimes they're silly. And the ex-wives club was one of Steve's plots.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was going to say, if there were a bunch of ex-wives over there trying to console Karen's husband,
that would be weird. Too soon, ladies. Too soon.
I mean, whose ex-wives are they? Are they his, or are they just other ex-wives?
Too soon or way too late?
All right. So yeah, you deliver those goods. Hey, Steve, you really don't have a lot to do at this reception gig because
no, not really.
Because most of the people who live here are people in your cohort at this stage.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and you do have access to the employee directory from this thing. You know.
What about the directory?
Well, the access to the employee directory. You know.
Yeah.
Where people are up to it. Yeah. I know you were looking at Dunk stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, you want to give me a wits plus computers?
Oh, not plus computers.
Is academics any better?
Yeah, that is. I think. Yes, that is.
No.
Okay. 3.
Oh, hey, what? That's interesting. You got the location of where they're keeping the survivors,
huh?
Or at least where they took everybody after the event. So probably not just survivors.
Well, that saves me a lot of work.
Yeah.
I thought little Cosmo was going to have to wipe someone's mind.
The night
Guess
is
we
young.
don't have to do that now.
Yeah.
Cool. It's great.
Based on the number of people on this list, on the number of people that are involved, there's not really a list. The number of people involved, because you know how many were in the building or have a sense of that. He's probably not going to be sleeping at home anytime soon. He's got a lot of work cut out for him.
I bet. It's a lot of assets to wrangle.
A lot of assets to wrangle.
Yeah, especially if some of them require buckets. Kind of
okay.
Yeah.
Well then, I mean, I guess the only other thing Steve wanted to make sure to get done this week was to set up that network that we all were used to be big fans of, but no longer have access to.
That seems like a good plan. Listen to the trash talk.
Introduce everyone to Cosmo and let them know that if their trash is rifled through the middle of the night, that will be why.
Okay.
Great. Bye, Cosmo. Does he talk?
Sort of.
No.
Not like verbalizing, but
his lips. Yeah.
He chitters at you.
I mean, yeah, he can send his thoughts your way.
But from what we talked about before, it's mostly just like impulses and interest in food and maybe some swearing.
All right. Well, as I
didn't you have a name for this?
Trash talk.
Trash talk. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Right.
I was gonna say someone came up with a name for.
It was definitely
First World Telepathy Thoughtland. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't know that. I think whatever. I don't know where I suggested that, but it was definitely the kind of thing where, like, it was just a suggestion. I didn't know that it had been picked up.
It was an email. One of our emails that we were exchanging.
That's right. Trash talk. Yeah.
Trash talk.
Well, I definitely learned to keep, things that raccoons like to eat on me while I'm working, in case I get harassed by Cosmo. It's less likely that he'll delete my memory if I give him food willingly.
Give him a sausage or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that probably led to a couple of pretty unproductive days before I worked that out.
Other than that, I think Steve is gonna spend the week building up some rapport with his new roommate.
Okay.
Go out and see the sights, take him to the zoo or something. Show him where other animals are that don't have telepathic powers.
It's really sad when they don't have telepathic powers.
Yeah, it is. Too bad for them. But you probably don't care about that because you're a raccoon.
No, he does not. He's not a sapient raccoon. So he's not plotting on how he's going to uplift all of the animals of the zoo.
I have no idea what it is either.
Huh. It's not on my end.
No, it's on my end.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
We've got a ghost in the Zoom.
Somebody's car outside was doing something that it probably shouldn't have been.
Figures.
Just checking to see what Doug's up to while you're doing your stuff. All right, so you drop off the goods, the personal effects. So, what are we doing for this weekend?
Well, I definitely would share with you guys that we have the location where Dunk is keeping all of the assets.
So you're saying we could go beat up Dunk?
I feel like there was a plan there at one point.
So,
other than just beating up Dunk, but maybe just beating up Dunk was the only thing we planned on doing with that. But
well, yeah, I mean, so I definitely want to get Dunk, but to some extent, it's one of the reasons I'm building that weapon is so that
for Dunk.
Well, one of the reasons, yeah. I mean,
okay.
So the best thing that I've been able to come up with to deal with Dunk is to throw him through a hole in reality.
Ooh, sounds fun.
I could maybe get in line with this.
And were you able to make other holes, or just you're talking about the hole in your workshop?
Well, that's the only one that's currently openable. I actually have no idea how to open one anywhere else, or even really have any good ideas on how to start figuring out that. But if we could get him into the office, or the, my office, with enough firepower, I think we could probably get him through the hole. I have no idea how we would deal with him otherwise. We don't really have combat powers so much.
Yeah.
And the last time went very poorly.
Yeah, it didn't go great. I mean, I was fine, but
only one of you ended up in the hospital for an extended period of time.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
Nobody kicked the cat.
Well, maybe we went too big. We were trying to spring one guy, and there were a bunch of guys watching him. Maybe this time we could just try to I don't know.
Create. Yes.
I mean, I'm sure there already is chaos. I'm just thinking that us being there could be a way of exploiting it, though that was what prompted last time for them to use all of our contacts against us. So we'd have to do it in a more covert way. Yeah. That's
what if, I mean, remember that the reason they have these people is because these people have superpowers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what if we were to create some opportunities for them to break themselves out?
Yeah.
Help those who help
That's the kind of stuff I'm thinking about. It's just about what we do and when we do it. Now, if we could get, because Cosmo here, hey Cosmo, could maybe borrow one of Dunk's crew's memories about what's going on there, if we can have access to any of those people, and then maybe once we know what kind of people are inside, we might have a better idea of what to do to pop the balloon, so to speak.
Well, fortunately, we have super easy access to Dunk's people, because when Tamsin gets the first person to move in, the movers will be here.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's part of the whole thing that they have to do it. So,
and there's someone moving in on Monday, so
exactly.
So we just wait till Monday.
Yeah, if you want to get somebody's memories, that'd be the time to do it.
Of what particular brand of chaos is going on in Dunk World.
Yeah.
And then maybe we can find a plan.
Yeah. Let's do it. As far as this weekend goes, do we have any other ideas of stuff that we want to do? Like I got a lot of ideas, but
well, I hope none of them is the zoo, because we did that already this week.
Wait, you took Cosmo to the zoo?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. It was the thing to do.
Steve, you're weird.
There were only a few people who asked what was wrong with my baby.
I talked to my friend Charlie, whose name was dropped by such and such. Apparently, the Gununga Gap connection is they give him, like, I guess, the surveillance footage or something for some reason for him to get to the people who deal with such things.
Wait, what?
Or if it's normal for
Let me expand on this. They don't just have the surveillance footage for the Serendipitous Gardens. They actually own surveillance company, like surveillance camera company, as like a small, like kind of like Ring, where you get an app and they install a camera. And oh yeah, by the way, according to the little thing in your contract, they can totally give that stuff to law enforcement. So Serendipitous Gardens is wired for heavy surveillance, but so is a good chunk of Denver. They don't have like massive, huge. They don't have like the ring. They don't have the rings. They don't have rings reach, but they have a pretty good amount of surveillance that they can provide to law enforcement, and sometimes it is doctored to deal with problems for the conspiracy.
There. Whatever I know of that, I fill them in that they're giving them the footage that they get from their like phone surveillance of all the people and whatnot.
Speaking of surveillance, I'm trying to figure out how to ask this question. Now that Tamsin is Karen, does she have access to the surveillance?
She does not. That's handled through Francois, I believe. Let's check. It obviously passes through the building, or at least the stuff that's in this building does.
Because I think
data management. So yeah, Francois and etc.
Okay, is that something that I could tap into in case we needed to doctor stuff? Or
yes, you could probably fiddle with the cameras on site to manipulate that if you needed to. Be some larceny rolls and such for that.
All right. Well, I guess that's one of the things I'm interested in doing. One of the other things that I'm interested in doing is figuring out how to stay off of Jared's radar, or at least to warn us that he's nearby somehow. I have no idea how to start working on that. If anyone else has some clue.
A Jared detector?
Yeah, that would be. Is he here right now?
I don't know. We're in my office right now, so I I
It's
have no idea.
much less likely, but yeah. Although I guess now that he's not anything but a deviant, it's more likely.
You know, the way that they get control on us is by can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. The way that they get control on us is by using our contacts. So maybe Jared Cuckwalder Sr. is a possible candidate for recruitment or something.
You mean as a resident?
Yeah.
I'll see. I'm assuming he has lots of money, but I guess that's just an assumption on my part.
I like where your head is at. It wouldn't have occurred to me that he's got the same vulnerabilities that we do.
Yeah. I mean,
Hold Tamsin hostage.
I'm just thinking that, like, I guess I don't have specifics as to what I'm thinking, but just that having someone close to him, close by, would be would be rough for him to navigate if he were to turn state's evidence on us.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's going to wander into something at some point, and we're not going to know about it.
He hasn't already.
Yeah.
That's why I want to know if there's a way that we can figure out if he's around or not. Do you is that something? No, that's a terrible idea. Never mind. I was thinking that that maybe that was something Cosmo could do, but I don't want Cosmo to accidentally put him on the network.
Yeah, the thing is that, like, well, hold on. Let me read this. Yeah, no. All of this is targeted stuff. It's not, there's no, like, mind scan or something like that.
Hey, Saul, is there anything that, I don't know, like, I'm just trying to, like, think of as some kind of science angle we could take with this. Like, is there any kind of thing you could do with your light or something that would, like, make him, like, cast a shadow or something like that, even if we couldn't see him? I don't know.
Does
I
he
don't
cast
know.
a shadow?
I don't know. Like, he's invisible, right? It's light. The only way would be if I'm just randomly shining around, like, light that happens to blind him or radiation that happens to annoy him. I don't know how to make it different, I guess.
Well, the only thing I can think of to do that I'm capable of doing is installing security stuff so that we know, I don't know, like, because, I mean, when he's invisible, like, would he trip a laser? I don't even know.
Probably not.
Probably not.
One of those things you kind of have to study.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth finding out.
The only way we're going to figure out is by experimenting.
Yep.
All right, well, maybe like maybe I'll start installing some security system stuff in the apartment complex and see if any of it gets tripped.
All right, you're welcome to start doing stuff in my apartment, because then you can make sure that you're not hitting like animals tripping it all the time.
Other than Bjorn.
Yeah.
Are you saying this because you want to know when he's in your apartment?
Oh, so very much.
Oh yeah.
Are you suggesting I don't want to know when he's in my apartment?
Oh no, I figured that was why. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah. Also, if I can get tapped into the security system, it would be nice to know exactly what the cameras are picking up with relation to his movements. Whether like, I mean, did you say that he walked right through the wall?
I guess I don't remember. I don't know.
There was no indication that your built like your door was forced open or anything of that nature. He was just in your bedroom watching you sleep.
Yes, but there's also other ways he could have gotten in without having gone through. I mean, I can get into my apartment without
That's true. Yeah.
the walls. So
yeah, me too. I mean, not that I would, but I could do it.
So, I mean, I saw a couple of people the other day who definitely could have gotten in without.
A liquid person.
Well, I mean, I become a liquid person.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
not judging. I'm just commenting.
You better not be judging against liquid people.
That's racist.
It's been a while since we had that joke in this house.
Okay, so all right, maybe that's what my weekend project will be then, is to get control of the surveillance system and maybe install some of my own.
Okay.
Oh my!
Just for testing purposes to see if he's tripping it or not.
I can't believe I didn't even think about this. I need to talk to Bjorn.
Okay.
About what?
I want to know if he can tell when Jared is in there. And if so, if he can manipulate him.
He can't see Jared when Jared is invisible.
Right. Not see necessarily.
Or smell or anything of that nature here.
Yeah.
Noel, do you want to give me a wits or intelligence plus larceny?
Okay. I have 9 again for this, and this is none of my specialties. Apply. Let's see here. Three.
3 successes. Okay. Make some pretty decent progress, but it's a pretty archaic wiring system right now.
God damn it.
Yeah, I know.
Stupid 70s.
Yeah.
To some extent, that might make some of it easier, but
like you kind of have to replace some of the big cameras with the little cameras because the big cameras aren't really all that helpful to you.
Sure.
Yeah, I guess you're right because the surveillance stuff is probably the surveillance equipment is probably outdated now because it's 70s stuff. Interesting.
Yeah.
Pinhole cameras aren't really a thing at this point. Not even a little bit. Unless you're talking about like really high-tech spy gear. But even then.
Yeah. Are we?
That's an
So
interesting point.
we haven't tapped in yet. Then so that we could see anything yet, right? Then.
No, but I think you're now studying the surveillance equipment and realizing that it's the original surveillance equipment that came to the building, or at least,
So
I mean, obviously been enhanced, but like it's more than more than you would expect in a condo, but more than you'd expect in a condo in the 70s rather than a condo in the 2020s.
So we're probably not being watched in our units anymore.
Doesn't appear yes, it appears it's unlikely that you're being watched in your units right now.
At least not by Big Brother. We just have to worry about
Jared.
Yeah.
Anything similar.
Little brother.
Little brother. Little brother who watches you sleep. That's even more creepy than not at all, but
Yikes. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Have we heard anything from Zachariah? I mean, obviously we're being pretty careful about contacting him, but the last that happened is we gave him
that evidence.
Yeah.
Well, Zechariah, let's see, his goals.
So, and because he has that conversation, he's updated as to what's happening.
Yeah, he knows what's going on right now, but he hasn't contacted you regarding it. I'm partially because you guys have warned him that you are part of the conspiracy now and don't want to.
And they're actively looking for him.
Yeah. So, want to keep a tight lid on his whereabouts, but also he has his reasons not to respond too obviously to that information yet.
Oh, by the way, I am straight up telling Gagunga Gab that I am working on the security system. Specifically, I'm even working overtime on the security system.
Okay.
And I'm gonna flat out tell them why.
Because old stuff, old tech.
Well, that and because I'm worried about Gene.
Oh, okay.
And that I think that he's lurking around trying to sabotage us. And I'm kind of playing it up like almost like a crazy conspiracy. Like to some extent, I do believe this crazy conspiracy, but I'm playing it up for them. Like this is something I'm really worried about.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Nope. Well, that makes perfect sense.
Like almost to the extent that like I'm so worried about it that that it's getting in the way of my work.
Okay. So we are on to Monday the 10th, I think. And someone is moving in. Lucky them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just out of curiosity, what's the profile of the person that, or of the people that we're like attracting now? Is it the senior thing?
It's too early because you haven't really done any marketing for it yet. So this is sort of the residual, like people who had maybe looked at it and are had probably made a decision weeks ago, but are only now moving in. And suddenly that last minute price drop was just what they needed to get him in the door. They probably won't be thrilled by the remodeling that's going to be required, but the amount of money that they're saving is enough that they could probably afford that now. then they get to decide what color the carpet is and whether it's shag or not. Right now, it's definitely shag. Yellow shag.
All right. Well, at some point during the move-in process, I am gonna come by with Cosmo on the pretense of introducing her to our new neighbor to my unusual pet, so she doesn't think it's like
A feral trash-eating animal?
Yeah.
Okay.
It definitely is a feral trash-eating animal.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
But he's nice. He's a sweet kid.
But you're kind of the crazy old man of this building, so
I guess I'm that.
You're easy to explain away most of the time.
Yeah.
All right, and then while you're there, you're going to try to steal the memories of one of the movers.
Yeah. I should be able to get a scene of what's going down in the
Can we watch the scene like through the network?
Yeah, sure.
That seems fun.
You might not want to, but yeah, sure.
Oh, we want to.
Okay, so this guy's job, and it was not a very pleasant one, was to haul all the bodies to a lawn and garden shop on the edge of town, and they had gotten an extra number of wood chippers, and they were working all weekend, pretty much nonstop in 12-hour shifts, wood chipping bodies of people who were killed in the accident, so that they could dispose of them. So that's a pretty picture. Just bloody wood chippers. They had to have a couple different stores provide these, or like a dozen of them or so, just to feed them all. Kids were the worst.
But nothing about any of the people they're holding right now?
This particular dude, that was what he was busy with all weekend. But the good news is they got rid of all the bodies. And went to the reservoir. They're now fish food.
I'm sure those guys had security apps on their phones, right?
They had what?
That security app on their phones.
No, that security app isn't it isn't an app where it surveils you while you're holding the phone. That's not its main purpose. It's like Ring. It's like a home security system. It's an app you have on your phone so that you can look at the security cameras at your house. But it just, like I said, there's a little clause in the contract that says that the security company can take any of the footage from your security cameras at your house and give them law enforcement at their discretion.
I suppose maybe I'll try to pop in there one more time and see if I can get a different guy this time.
Try to get a different guy this time.
I'll bring pancakes this time.
Oh boy, lucky them. Okay.
See how friendly I am? I don't have very many neighbors anymore.
Yeah, it's funny how that works when they all die horribly.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Well, you do get the memory of someone who woke up when they arrived at the building. They weren't actually, they weren't driving. Someone someone else was, because again, 12-hour shifts of wood chipper per duty. But there is apparently this house in sort of it's sort of an old town, but it's like there's really not a whole lot there anymore. Never really has been. But the house used to belong to the sheriff of the town, and he.
I thought we were going for memories related to the containment facility.
Correct. That's the thing, is that this sheriff, his house actually had a jail in the basement.
Okay.
Because it was kind of a hassle for him to get to, like, have like a place outside of work, and he was a little bit of a strange guy. So there are a couple dozen prison cells in the basement of this large house, but it isn't, the exact address isn't clear. That would probably take some additional research, because he wasn't awake when he got there, so he didn't see the road, the trip, but he does remember the house.
Okay. Old prison cells, huh?
Yep.
Didn't think this would be an actual jailbreak.
Okay.
The funny thing about this is actually based on a real thing in Kentucky, where it's like, oh yeah, this is a really nice looking house. I mean, this is really cool, and like, the granite heart, the granite countertops, and the like gorgeous views, and the hardwood everywhere, and like everything's just wonderful. And then it's like, okay, keep clicking through all the like pictures of the house. Why is there a jail in the basement of this house?
You saw that.
Yeah.
Sex dungeon?
It was not. It was exactly the story that I was telling, that it belonged to a sheriff who, he had some jail cells in his house for some reason.
Historical property, and whenever somebody decided to do some interior decorating, they took it in an interesting place and modernized the jail cells.
Yeah. So that's, if the original purpose, you're like, okay, that's a little weird, but all right. No, why is it still like that? It's been through multiple owners. Why is it still like that? Creepy house.
Yeah.
Now this would be the time to rise.
Rise. Yeah. Anyway.
It's our mole child.
The mole child?
Don't play over the couch.
What are you doing? Just what are you doing?
Oh my gosh, I have one of those too. He does the same thing. In addition, likes to take all the cushions off like the back part of the couch, and take them all off and make a little fort out of them, and then watch his iPad in there, and then when he's done, he just goes upstairs with the iPad and doesn't fix the couch.
Good night.
Good night.
There's like a weird tunnel.
Are you a backpack?
Kind of.
Why? Good night. Love you, sweetie.
Okay. Anyone have any ideas on what to do with the jail cell basement?
Is it full of people?
Oh, I'm sure.
Implied.
Okay.
I mean, that would be its primary function, I have to think.
Well, I mean, like they probably have powers, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I don't know. Maybe if we just give them some tools to help themselves somehow, we could make it look like they broke themselves out.
We replicate that movie.
Which movie are you thinking?
Yeah.
Apollo 13?
Yes.
The Rock.
We give them a rocket.
The Rock?
No, with the poster and the digging and the
Shawshank Redemption.
Thank you.
So we're going to give them a spoon and a pair of pants to put dirt in.
Well, no, don't give them a spoon. Just tell them there is no spoon and hope they figure it out on their own.
I mean, I guess the Matrix would also work. Just tell them they aren't really in jail until they free their mind, and when they've truly embraced the impermanence of life and how it's all an illusion, they'll find themselves on the other end side of the cells. Or we V for Vendetta them and give them a heart-wrenching story and then let them find out that the door's open.
Uh-huh. I don't think that's how that jail works.
No.
So, I mean, the Tamsin's really sneaky and can turn into a very sneaky cat that is sometimes a liquid cat.
Liquid cat, yep.
Sometimes I'm a liquid human. Being liquid and being cat isn't necessarily synonymous, but I mean,
Yes,
oftentimes when I'm
get in
liquid,
places.
I'm in tight spaces, and then sometimes I turn into a cat, whether I meant to or not.
I can teleport stuff. Like, I could probably even, with a little preparation, I can even do it through walls and stuff if I know where stuff is going.
If we could get Cosmo in there, we could put the people who are in there on the network.
Did we attach a camera to Cosmo?
I could
We
definitely
haven't yet.
attach a camera to Cosmo.
Yeah, it wouldn't be hard.
Well,
You
because
get Cosmo to go where you want him to go.
And if we're having this conversation in telepathy land, then the conversation is definitely going to get more colorful at this point.
because Cosmo has feelings about puns, or because Cosmo has feelings about having cameras strapped to him?
Huh? I don't know.
Cosmo is interested in whatever is in that house's trash can. I mean, if there's a bunch of people living there, they probably have a lot of trash.
I suppose.
They probably even have additional trash inside. That's even better.
Yeah, I'd throw up a mental picture of a real big trash can down in one of those cells.
Yeah.
Just seeing the extra hour in the ball pit thing. As a trash can in the ball pit.
The ball pit.
Are you aware of this?
I've heard about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a great meme. It came back recently. Anyway, so going to scan into what's going on in the jail.
We have to figure out where it is first, though, because
Yep.
we don't actually know.
You do need to do some research.
Do you want to take care of that during the week, Steve?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
And then next weekend we'll try a jailbreak.
Let me find. I might be able to find that out quick, actually.
Oh yeah.
Well, sheriff with jail in his basement. That might be some quirky thing that like police officers know about.
Well,
your guy might be able to tell you.
He might say, like, "Oh yeah, I know that place. That's over here."
that's true too. Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'll just do that quick. I'll call and say, "Hey, I heard that there's this like crazy house that's got a jail in its basement. You ever heard about that?"
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Good Lord, where was that? He puts you on mute and probably asks some friends and such around the office. Okay, yeah, I know about that. That like they here, I'll get you the real estate entry. It's actually up for sale at the moment. And he emails you a link to a real estate listing.
Sold by Gap.
Yep, indeed. Gananga Gap Real Estate Group.
All right, I solved your problem, guys. It's up for sale by Gananga Gap. Here's its entry. Here's the Zoom.
I mean, it doesn't like give you a. Oh no, that's modern. It actually gives you one of those 3D tours. You can like walk around in it virtually.
Oh my God.
Totally normal. Beautiful house, great, awesome. Why the fuck are there jail cells in this thing?
Okay.
Cool.
Could I combine that with a blind translocation to
if you get
teleport
enough,
things in?
You could if you get close enough.
Okay.
Teleport things in?
Yeah.
Why don't we just teleport them out? Get you in and be like...
Because that's not how blind translocation works. I can only... I can't send anything... I can't target something I can't see. I could I could send one of us in, like myself. I could send myself into the but what I was thinking is that we could just send them escape devices, like ways to get out.
We would have to know more about what's actually keeping them in. I mean, if it's just a matter of here's a jail cell, I mean, that might work for normal people, but we don't know what kind of abilities these guys have.
Sure.
So there might be something else.
But don't they, like, normally when Dunk has them, they've got their powers turned off.
They did have something that was suppressing Williams.
Abby did that initially.
Abby got people under control because she has the inability to do so. But no, they had some sort of like handcuffs or something that would dampen power.
So all we need to do is figure out something that will disable the handcuffs, right?
Translocate in some bolt cutters or something.
We need a pair of handcuffs to find out how to nullify the handcuffs.
And we wouldn't be able to get any of that information from any of Dunk's people. Would we? Or be able to steal a key? I mean, they have to.
They probably don't carry that key around here.
Outside, yeah.
Yeah.
Which doesn't mean that we can't get it. It just means it might be a trickier problem.
Okay. Well, that's a good starting place, though.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can see the key, I can teleport the key. Does that work if I can see it on camera?
No, it has to be within actual physical range.
Okay. What if I'm in physical range and can blind teleport and can see it on camera? Does that work?
Check to see if there's anything covering that.
Excuse me.
Roommate can move to a destination blocked off by non-transparent cover. It isn't specific in that regard, but I don't feel that surveillance in itself is sufficiently close for a deviant. I know mages, it's fine. It's a totally normal thing. Yeah. I don't feel like that's the deviants work quite that way.
Okay. No, that's fine. I'm just trying to get a handle on what I'm capable of.
Yeah, I understand.
All right. Well, so what we need is the key. Then we have a MacGuffin. I mean, we could, teleport in tools or whatever, but the key seems
easiest.
Very what?
Easiest, like most direct.
Yeah. I mean, I have several ideas about how we could get the key. Some of which are better than others.
As always.
I mean, we know somebody who can turn into somebody else and just walk in and take it.
Seems pretty easy, right? In theory.
Are we sure that's a resource that we want to use for this?
Yeah, that might be a risky resource. I agree.
Yeah. Well, I'm suggesting it because I don't have any personal feelings about Abby or keeping her safe. But
me neither.
I mean, I know we're specifically not telling her about certain aspects of our plans or whatever, and that could be a problem. But couldn't, if we ask her to do that, couldn't we then have Cosmo deal with that problem? She can't tell them things she doesn't remember doing.
It's true. Let me check back and see if that's is that are they gone when he steals them? Do they never come back?
They're just gone.
Yeah, they never come back. Unless there's
oh yeah, there is a thing. If you like deliberately remind them or like show them a diary that they kept about it or surveillance footage, you can rejigger their memory and it'll come back to them.
Yeah.
But it doesn't just come back on its own. It's not a duration of any kind.
Yeah. So maybe if they were back in the building again for some reason, she might remember what she did.
Or if they like showed her surveillance and proved to her that
this is you.
Dunk was somewhere else at the time or whatever, and cornered her on it. Like, we just have to make sure that doesn't happen.
It still seems like an abuse of trust with.
Benji looks at you like, what's the problem with that?
It just this doesn't feel important enough to like. This is important, but it isn't that important.
Well, okay. Can you steal the key then? Can you sneak in there?
Maybe. I don't know. We need to look, and I feel like before we need to say this is how this is going to happen, we need to at least look and see how it's set up now.
Well, we have a virtual tour. Here it is. Here's what it looks like.
Yeah, but that's how it was set up then, not necessarily how it's set up now. Where is the key in there?
Oh, that I can't tell you. But in order to find that out, we have to sneak in there.
You're right. That's sort of what I'm saying.
So go sneak in there.
Or we send Abby in as fake Dunk. Or if you've got a better plan, lay it on me.
Well,
I might be able to do it.
Or does she even have to sneak? I mean, what sort of authority does she have as herself now?
That's a good point. But if you go in there and then everybody escapes,
then
it's going to be pretty suspicious.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that's what we're trying to stay away from.
Is there another way we can get the key?
Right.
There's more than one key, I'm assuming.
Probably. What about Dunk's company? I mean, my guess is that these work like regular handcuff keys, and because I'm a criminal, I know about regular handcuff keys.
Yeah, I mean, and this is my point: is they don't usually just hang handcuff keys up on a wall somewhere. Usually, they're on a person.
Yeah, but also there's probably more than one, right?
Yeah, so we just need to find one.
Yeah, so like, what if we don't break into the house and get one? What if we go to Dunk's towing company and steal one from there?
That would be an option. But I still don't think we should use Abby, because Abby is very important to both Steve and I, and
Abby's good people.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that what if you, in your official capacity, went to Dunk's towing company on a completely legitimate errand?
Yeah, I guess I can see what capacity they have for getting people. Hold on, pause. Quick question, Eric. Do they do stuff with moving people in addition to moving out, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So me going in there, I could go in there to check and see what sort of capacity they expect that they have, since they had to expend a bunch of resources on getting everybody out. So I can see what a reasonable, promisable move-in schedule would be.
Okay. No, that makes sense.
Throw your weight around as far as being the linchpin, like.
Yeah, there's plenty of reasons. I mean, me going to, like, I have legitimate reason to go there, because that actually is probably a responsible thing I should be doing.
Do you want one of us to come with you? It's probably a good idea.
Yes and no. I mean, if I'm doing this in my official capacity, it's going to be weird to have one of you guys with me.
What if we know where it is? Like, I could always just try to sneak in there.
I would say, alternately, if one of you guys followed me or paid attention to what was going on through other means that I didn't necessarily know about, you'd get all of that information, right? Without having to blow this particular thing.
That's true. All right, so just go in there and see if you can find a key. I mean, if you can, then we'll go in there later and actually steal it. But it would be really helpful to know what we were looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you can stick a camera on something, that would be not like...
We don't need a camera. We have telepathy.
I suppose that's true, but you still can only see what I see.
Right.
I mean,
Do you see that?
getting some footage of the company, if we catch something illegal, that's all, handy. Still. And telepathy doesn't work as evidence for the law, as far as I am aware.
The law is not going to help us.
Yep.
Why not?
Well, they are the law, essentially.
We are the law.
I'm pretty sure we aren't going to be able to arrest ourselves out of this conspiracy.
We are not the law.
Benji launches into a big tirade about the police, and it kind of ventures into some conspiracy theory territory. Yeah.
All right. It's one avenue to take down the baddies, and I think it's still worthwhile to use.
All right. Well, wear a camera then. I don't care.
All right, let's do this thing.
Right. So, we're probably getting a little close to time for us to try to wrap up this thing. So let me make note that this is where you're headed.
Yeah, this is probably a good start next time.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna have Rachel go over in her official capacity and look for a key at the.
Scout it out.
At where? At the.
Dunk's moving office.
Okay. Which is different than where the jail is.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. That's a secret facility we're not supposed to know about.
Gotcha.
I mean, maybe it's not that secret within the, the icky parts of Gunga Cab or whatever, but they're probably walling it off from us at least.
Yeah. Especially given her prior actions with William.
Right.
I wouldn't want another one of those kind of incidents, for sure.
It's a nice jail you got here.
Yeah.
Be a shame if something happened to it.
Poorly planned.
Right.
Come here and do something for it.
Hey, Eric, remind me, who are the weirdos that hang out outside the apartment complex?
It is, some of them are failures, people who kind of diverged but failed. So they didn't get any cool powers, but they just kind of got their souls broken. Some of them are just sort of weird cultists, and you're not entirely sure why they're cultists over this building. They know that there's something like special and powerful about it, and they...
The angel lives.
Yes, it's where the angel lives, and other like stuff of that nature. This has been sort of this weird nexus of odd activity. So of course it spawns cultists because it's Chronicles of Darkness.
Did any of them want to live in there?
There are some that would love to live there, but they can't afford it.
Okay, just curious.
I'll let you guys jot that one down if that's the direction you want to go. I'm not going to do that. Reverse Rule 0 violation.
I was just thinking of people that I wouldn't, that Benji wouldn't care what happened to them, and weirdos who worship the goddamn building would probably fall into that category.
Well, I mean, maybe I could hit the somebody could secretly suggest to them that they start pooling their money for rent.
Well, I was also thinking of okay, now that's too fucking evil.
Have a one apartment commune, one bedroom commune.
I mean, I don't think too evil is a thing that really registers with this group at the moment after blowing up the building and killing just about everyone inside of it, and then still proceeding like we're
in fairness,
okay.
that was an accident mostly.
It was mostly
we were
an
trying to
accident.
kill certain people. We weren't trying to kill everybody.
Some of the people there, though.
Well, okay. So the idea that I had filed in the too evil hole was what if we reached out to Denver's like Housing First program and
made it low-income housing.
Yeah, and started bringing some of these people into the building because clearly they don't have anywhere to live. And we could just get the city to pay for their housing. I mean, the rent has really come down since this event happened. And,
especially since it's all now outdated.
Lower.
Yeah.
Why is that better than just picking random people, though?
Because the homeless don't deserve to be forcibly diagnosed.
Okay, just making sure. That's where we were going with that observation.
Well, that's where my observation was.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So let's do some wrap-up stuff here. Logistics. No new or old touchstone cut. No one affirmed a wavering touchstone this episode.
I guess Jared never showed up, so
I don't even have a wavering. I've just got a link.
I think my Angel Gene one is wavering.
Yeah.
The gene that I've been talking about, though, is Demon Gene, right?
Right. Maybe.
The one that's been lurking.
Yeah, that was the one that's been lurking.
Okay.
Did I reaffirm my comic guy when I went to his act that other night?
that was to be
Did
Gene.
mess with him. Yeah, because that was
Yeah.
Gene. That would be affirmed.
Okay. I wasn't sure if that would count if I had reason to think that it wasn't actually him there.
Well, it was, but it
was okay.
Yeah, I mean it was the comic, but also you discovered that the comic was a facade of Demon Gene.
Oh wait, so okay. So does that mean that is a does that mean that it's Gene? Like that conviction touchstone is just Gene now?
Yeah, in essence.
Huh.
Yeah. I mean, unless you want to compartmentalize that it's specifically only when he's in the comedian guys, but yeah, it was that was something you determined was the comedian was Demon Gene.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess if it counts that I was screwing with him by sicking the, like I'm trying to sick the
absolutely
gab on him, and technically Demon Gene is the new one because Angel Gene was the original one,
right? Yeah, your genes kind of butted.
Yeah.
Mitosis or something.
Yeah, Fallen Gene was the wavering one, and I think I've solidified that one now.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so nobody did anything wacky with magnitude.
Nobody got that except for you.
A what?
Pop, pop.
Pop, pop.
Pop, pop. Magnitude.
Okay, I finally got it.
I still have no clue what's going on.
Community.
But that's
You have to
okay.
watch Community.
It's a
right.
great show. It's very fun, very light, easy to just enjoy.
Cool.
All right. So, were other conviction touchstones messed with this session?
Not yet.
We didn't mess with the power plant, and we didn't yet mess with Dunk. So no.
Yeah.
Okay. And loyalty. Was anything done with that? Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, you definitely did.
I took Abby to go return a dead woman's stuff.
I covered.
That's kind of like
Abby.
bonding. Yeah, you guys kept her from being used as bait. I mean, yeah. What do you, Benji? Any? I guess we talked about the convictions touchdown because you were messing with Demon Gene by
Zechariah hasn't come out of
convincing.
the woodwork yet.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Everyone. All right, let's talk aspirations. So blame mass event on Gene, on Demon Gene. I don't know that was fulfilled per se. What do you think, Noel?
Well, so like if it wasn't fulfilled, then I would have been working on that more during the week. Like that was the whole fucking point.
Yeah. So I guess you did pin stuff on him. Yeah, okay.
Like the whole point of like telling them about the security plan. And,
that's fair. Okay, I will consider that one fulfilled. Figure out where Dunk is, where he's not moving anyone. I think you have an idea of that at the moment. Figure out what's up is with Charlie. You feel pretty satisfied with the answer you got there.
Yep.
And I think that Tamsin is turning into quite the good Karen so far.
Tamsin is trying to figure out exactly what Karen did all day, since it seems like the answer is not much. Maybe weasel her way into various meetings? I don't know.
No. She mostly made sure that people got moved in and out, right? And were happy when they were residents. Relatively happy.
You should fight your way into a meeting.
All right. So, what are aspirations next week, Benji?
Jailbreak.
Jailbreak. All right. Steve.
Definitely jailbreak.
Everyone's pretty.
I mean, that's kind of the only ball in the air for me. So.
Yeah, I know. Soul.
Yeah. Jailbreak works.
Yeah. So everyone's gonna be sad if I have an alien invasion or something next week. Okay, I'll duly noted. And Tamsin.
Well, depends if the aliens are willing to help us. I guess technically jailbreak, but most specifically figure out how to get the key without dragging Abby into it or implicating myself so that I may continue to weasel my way into an advantageous position to help us with our objectives.
That's a really long thing.
You can just say jailbreak.
I'm going to say figure out how to get the handcuff key.
Yeah.
That's all united jailbreak, basically. Okay.
Are you the key master?
when I was a kid and I watched that movie, I did not realize how dirty that whole thing was. All right, 3 beats, please. Are you all right there, Rachel?
Was that 3 beats?
Yep, 3 beats apiece.
Sorry, what? I swallowed wrongly. Oh, that's not where water's supposed to go.
No.
You said 3 beats?
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Did we have a vignette in mind at all?
I'm fine. It's just
I know.
water.
I know. It's like one of the worst things is when you get like one little bit of water or whatever in your throat and it makes you cough like crazy, but it's just like, I'm not drowning or anything. It's just coughing a bunch.
Yeah.
I think we should do a vignette about the like basement jail thing
Okay.
to at least lay some groundwork for what we're gonna find in there.
Oh.
So what are the roles that we're going to take in this? I suspect that we're going to need a dunk. Probably some other random thugs. A prisoner or 2?
I'll be a thug.
All right.
I'll do a prisoner this time.
Okay.
I'll let somebody else play dunk.
Sorry. What do we have? Dunk and random prisoner and or thug.
Right.
You have any preferences?
No, I'm fine with any of that, I guess.
I'm okay with being a prisoner, I think.
Okay. Mark, do you want to do dunk?
Well, unless it makes more sense for you to be dunk.
Then I have to make all this stuff up, and that's okay. But
You're saying that's just ridiculous?
You're the storyteller.
I am, except for these, except for the vignettes.
Yeah. If we take the part of dunk, then we get to make stuff up.
Yeah. Otherwise, I have to make it up, and I'm not going to be as gentle as you will be.
Or I can make power. I can be dunk.
Good, you be dunk then.
All right. All right.
Yeah, maybe.
Interior basement jail.
Let me out! Clank, clank, clank.
You realize you're supposed to be keeping a handle on this, right?
What?
My voice is super hoarse because I've been yelling for like 3 hours. Let me out!
So
Can anyone hear me?
Is to try and keep that not noticed
in the cell.
They're still jailed.
Yeah. Fine. It's like kids. You can yell. It's not going to do them any good.
No, but you can
You
also
know kids, how you put them in jail? It's like that. Like kids.
buy a preschool.
All right, I don't have kids. But if I had kids, it'd be like kids.
Yeah, but the thing is, you expect to hear kids from outside a house that has kids.
Okay.
You don't expect to hear, "Let me out. I'm dying. Please stop beating me up." Oh my gosh, why are you hitting my spleen there?
I'll go outside. I'll let you know.
John, keep it down.
I'm gonna go outside and see. Well, the good news is that
All right, I'll go shut him up.
okay. Mark, the other guard, is gonna go outside and see if he can hear the screams from outside. The good news is you can't. It's great.
Okay.
And now that you're out here, you could totally take a break or something. They don't know how quickly you're gonna get back in there.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna go tase him.
Oh.
Okay.
I get thoroughly tased.
Better?
I'll stay out for
better?
like 15 minutes because I gotta
He's twitching pretty good.
Okay.
You think I should?
Because you got to make a what?
I gotta make sure that there's enough time for noise to happen.
Right. Okay. No, that makes sense.
No.
He's
because
totally
if
got
we
his cell phone
damage
out.
him too much, then he's not of any use to us.
Oh, all right. I'll stop then.
I'm gonna. So one of the things that the guy does though is when you try to tase him, he tries to get you to tase the cuffs.
Okay, don't tase the cuffs. Because
Hey, is he supposed to know that those are doing something to him?
well, he probably
I
can.
thought. Oh, that's too bad.
So don't tase the cuffs.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely don't want to.
The cuffs. If you hit them with too much electricity, then they're going to short out. They'll still restrain them, but they'll leave them able to ooze out. Or
I'm the fire guy, not the ooze guy.
oh my gosh, you won't look the
Hey, dude,
You won't look the
the fire, the fire elemental guy.
No, that's the old lady, by the way.
That's what I was gonna say. You switched gender while you were in there.
There's been another fire
cuffs.
guy.
Don't do that.
There's another fire guy.
There were a lot of people. So there's fire guys, there's ooze guys. The point is, no matter who they are, don't overtase them. Don't tase the cuffs.
Yeah, I got this.
Okay.
That's fine.
Can I even?
Is this me?
With the key?
No,
it's
I can't hear her either.
No.
All right. Because I know I've been losing connection too. So.
What was the last bit you heard, or could you actually hear?
Don't overtase them. Don't tase the cuffs.
Yeah.
Because.
All right. Also, I'll wait until he's gone, and then.
What do you want with us anyway?
I mean, I just like some time on my cell phone. So if you guys could just keep it down in here, that would be good for me.
Talk about who they're recruiting.
I totally did not hear any yelling outside, guys.
Perfect. Right?
Awesome.
So they can yell yourself.
You guys, we can't hear anything you're saying.
Yeah, that was an interesting bit of artifice.
Or you could just shut up and say.
Well, the shut up part came
You
through.
can't hear us?
Oh, I said, or you could just shut up and save your voice.
My Zoom thing is saying you are getting a very red connection.
Yeah, I've gotten that a few times.
Yeah. All right.
Maybe we should just stop.
Hey, one little tidbit that you need to find out is that there are obviously, the handcuff keys. There's multiple versions for each set of handcuffs. But something that you guys know out of as NPCs is that there are about 5 or 6 different types of key. Like they're like numbered, kind of like file cabinets in an office building, where there's like only so many types of lock.
Yeah.
It's sort of like that. So there's like 5 or 6 different types of keys for the handcuffs.
All right.
Oh, so it doesn't work like handcuff keys then?
Not quite, no.
Shit.
Okay, so just to clarify, you mean like there's master keys and then there's keys specific only, or each pair of handcuffs has their own key?
Each pair of handcuffs has one of 5 different locks. So, if I have handcuffs with the number 1, I mean, there's not labeled necessarily quite like that, but the number 1, then only the handcuff key number 1 will open that. The handcuff key will open any of the handcuffs that are coded with handcuff key.
I get that point. I just was wanting to specify between unique keys versus master and not master. So.
Yeah, it's not a master key thing. It's just a few different varieties to make it a little bit harder for them to just, unlock everybody.
Okay.
Without going through the annoyance of having, 20 pairs of handcuffs and 20 different keys.
Right.
All right.
What do you want with us anyway?
I have left, for sure. if you are not yelling, I have left.
Yeah. Well, in that case, like I'm, talking to a prisoner like across the way or whatever.
Just ignore the calls for help. If they're too unruly or it seems like they're plotting with each other, tase them, not in the handcuffs. If you do accidentally tase them in the handcuffs, immediately put a new set on and take off the old.
Okay. I mean, I could just go in there and beat the crap out of them too, if that would be better.
No.
Oh, okay.
Because damaged goods are no good to us.
Surely less valuable.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Discover you don't have a key to take off the tase set of handcuffs. Let me know. I have duplicates, but I'm not giving you more than you need.
It would follow that Dunk would probably have a copy of each key.
I so badly just want to be a dick right now, but I'm not going to.
Lastly, where did we recruit you from?
Do like the Monty Python thing with the guards that do absolutely the wrong thing constantly.
I had
from the Holy Grail.
I had a conversation with someone in a professional scenario that I felt exactly like that. Like I was talking to the guard who, okay, I'm supposed to stay here unless he wants to leave. No, absolutely not. Not at all what I'm saying. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay.
So did we? I will not do that.
Yeah. So, did anyone need to spend experiences?
Yes, but I don't know what on.
Okay.
So.
No. All right. I guess that's it. For the week. Are we all good on 2 weeks from now? As far as everyone knows?
Yeah. I think so. That's the
22nd.
22nd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, as far as we know.
All
that
right.
is right before Thanksgiving, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm Eric Zawadzki. I'm the developer for Deviant the Renegades line. This is my tabletop group in quarantine. I'm going to introduce yourselves real quick.
Jake playing Steve.
Noel playing Benji.
Rachel playing Tamsin.
Mark playing Solomon.
All right. Thank you. Bye.